What is life like as an alcoholic abroad? I can look back on this story with some humour now, but at the time it was very distressing actually. Um, about 20 years ago, I was heavily into drinking, very heavily into drinking, and I met somebody who decided that we should go on holiday. She was a drinker, but I at the time cut right down to the point where I was still drinking, but not to the same level, which she didn't know it was anyway. I was sort of hiding a bit of it, as you do. You hide things, don't you? But I knew she was a drinker anyway. For years, I hadn't been on a flight because I got so anxious, couldn't get on a flight. So I thought, well, all right, I'll get a flight. Greece it was, October. I'd been to Greek islands before. I used to holiday a lot in Italy. So Greece, I thought, yeah, give it a go. Flying, I thought, what am I going to do about that? I thought, well, I just have to get tanked up, a few drinks. And I still was nervous. So for weeks before this flight, I was waiting in the middle of the night sweating, so I was still drinking a bit, panicking and all this sort of carry on, you know, what's going to be like on the flight? Will it be all right, you know, when it takes off? I'd flown hundreds of times previous to this, but when you get to the drinking stage where I was, everything becomes a problem. The anxiety kicks in, you know, and it becomes really, really difficult to do anything, to fly, to drive, to get on a bus, to, you know, get on a train, even to sit on a park bench. Sometimes it becomes hard because you're not really aware of life. You sort of, you get paranoid, you think everybody's watching you. Anyway, this particular day in question came, the day for the flight, and I didn't sleep. So I thought, well, I'll stay up all night and drink. So I drank, and I got there to her place early in a cab. Oh God, you're bright and early, you know, like full of beans. Which I was, I've been drinking, haven't I? So I think, well, it's quite a long flight, about 4.5 hours. Got to the airport 3 hours before, 2 hours before it was then. Got the plane, I thought, I must hit the bar now. Because you know what it's like when you're a big drinker, any little break in the drinking, you've got to get back to the bar, haven't you? So I'll never forget, they didn't have any, I don't have much lager in the airport, Newcastle Airport. It's not that big of an airport. It says international, but it's not really international. I had, well, Guinness. I thought I was starting to have a few pints of Guinness. I had about 5 or 6 pints of Guinness while we waited. And then they announced a delay. The plane had gone tech for about 4 hours. Minimum 4 hours delay. Jeez. So at that time, I was still very tolerant of alcohol. So I wasn't staggering about. But I was getting a bit tired and all this sort of thing. And she was a big wine drinker, but she didn't have any wine. I thought, oh God, you don't have to have something, otherwise I'm going to be like totally out of place here. Anyway, there's other people around me drinking, as there always is in airports, early in the morning. So I drank for another 4 hours, didn't I? Got on the plane, had a few little cans of whatever they were, Budweiser, Red Stripe or something. When you got there, and if you're feeling a bit rough, when you get off the plane, I got in Newcastle, it was freezing cold. Greece, about 32 degrees. They were terrible. Managed to get through the first day, went for a meal. There's a lovely restaurant, I'll never forget it, right on the, near the rocks, and you know, where the coast is. I'm sorry for laughing, but it is a funny story in a way, but serious in another way. I got through the first night, but you didn't know I had this massive drink problem, you know, from my past. So went to bed, got up the next day, and I felt rough, so rough. I never felt this rough in my life. And I thought, you know, when you go with somebody else, they're going to be watching what you're doing, aren't they? But fortunately, she said, I'm going to go to the beach. Are you going to come later? I thought, oh, that's good, I'll come to the beach later. So I thought, I must find a little shop, get a few supplies. This is the first day, I remember. So I found this shop and sold this lager. I can't remember what it was. It was the Greek lager, anyway, some sort of lager. It was quite strong, about 6%. But a few of them in the morning. I'll go out to the beach, but I think I took 4 cans of it. And just said, we have a drink already, about 11 o'clock by then. Yeah, I said I might have a couple during the day, you know. I'd already planned what I was going to do. So I had a couple of these and I thought, oh, I must have a load and all that. Just made loads of excuses. I kept going back to this shop and going back to a little bar I found. Because when you're an alcoholic, you find out, as soon as you get to a resort, you find out where you could go for a drink, where you can sneak into, what's open early, what's open late, all this sort of thing. So I had a little map of everything by then, a mental map of where I was going to go and drink. And I bought a couple of more sneaky ones, got through the day, 4 o'clock. Didn't feel too clever, had a little bit to eat. I got through that night, but I felt a bit rough, even at night, even when I was drinking, I felt rough. Next day, the same thing. She went on the beach. I did the same thing. Got a few drinks. I'm sort of day 2 now. And then I was starting to feel pretty groggy, really, to be fair. I hadn't been sick or anything, but I wasn't feeling myself. It's worse when you're abroad anyway. You feel out of sorts a little bit, don't you? And this relationship was quite new. So it wasn't somebody who understood me that well. Went by the shower. And I fell in the shower, didn't I? Cracked, split all my head. All the way up down there. Right across there. Jesus Christ. So much blood. And I got taken to hospital because there was a carry-on with travel insurance. So a couple of stitches, went back, and then I had a bit of a fallout. So you're drinking far too much, all this. So I ended up renting another room in the hotel, and I got into there, and that night I fell over and I crashed into the bed and broke all the slats about 3 o'clock in the morning. This Greek hotel manager, it wasn't a very big hotel, it was one of these, small family-run things. He was going mad. I couldn't understand what he was saying. I'm going to call the police. I was on about. No police came, obviously, because they wouldn't be bothered about some drunken British tourist. So very quiet drunk I was, apart from all these accidents. So I had this cut hair, I hurt my back and I fell in the bed. So basically, he couldn't find me another room. So all I had was the mattress. Only 5 days were away, I think. So basically things have got worse and worse and worse, and I was drinking more and more and more. She sort of left me alone. Now I started to ring people in the UK, like old friends, and ask for advice and all this sort of thing. They didn't have a clue. I hadn't seen someone for years. I was in this sort of mental state where I didn't know what to do, because you're in a foreign country, aren't you? And every time I saw a Greek police officer, I'm thinking, geez, they're coming after me. Bear in mind, I'd been in the police myself. And I was still worried. Thinking, crikey, what's going to happen? But nothing ever happened in the hotel, apart from I had to pay a lot of euros to put a few repairs and whatnot. Being abroad, for me, when I was an alcoholic, was absolute torture again, Like it's bad enough in the UK, but when you go overseas and you get the sunshine, everything's open more, and it's just the whole aspect, the whole drinking thing is a nightmare, isn't it? It's great when you're young and crazy, but when you get older, your body takes a massive hit, and nothing is pleasurable. Even going on holiday becomes a chore. I've noticed when I've been away now, obviously sober 5 years. I was away a lot last year and the year before. I can tell the alcoholics straight away in the queue, because they start, in the morning, they're a little bit shaky, a bit nervous, a bit red in the face, and they're needing a drink. And you'll see them straight away go to the bar. The long queues, and they feel a bit tired, and they're sitting in the case, and they're not just fed up because they go back to the UK or because they've got to go to work. They're fed up because they've done 7, 8, 10 days of drinking. And that's what the British do when they go on holiday. They just drink. And it must be the only country in the world where people quantify the holiday or describe the holiday as you don't just say I went on a Jeep safari, or I went up the mountains, or I went water skiing, or paragliding, whatever. They say it was only €1 a pint. That's what people say to me. How was Turkey? Oh, it was only like it was cheap for a drink. But, how was Portugal? Oh, €2 for a big pitcher of alcohol. It's crazy, isn't it? We're all crazy, the ones who drink. At the end of the day, it's a habit. It becomes an addiction, and it gets out of control. When it gets out of control, on a serious note, then it just causes you a lot of medical issues, a lot of physical, and something which is not talked about enough, a lot of mental health issues, and you have to really be careful. If you're watching this, try and cut down, try and stop if you can, because it will kill you. It'll kill you early. But just something to keep you sort of thinking. Even travelling abroad is difficult when you're a drinker. But now just jump in a plane, fine. It's all to do with anxiety. I think with me, I was, unsure about what to do, and now I'm really confident again, because alcohol takes all your confidence away, and you become a tenth of the man you were before, a woman you were before, and your whole life revolves around the drink, and it's not a nice place to be. Please subscribe if you benefit from these, and share them to anybody else who might need help, because a lot of people do need help. I'll speak to you all soon.